Welcome to the Mom Owned and Operated podcast, the podcast about moms and for moms, where we have candid conversations about running a business, raising a family, and remembering ourselves. I'm your host, Rita Suzanne, a single mom of four, digital strategist, and provider of no-nonsense business strategies and tactics. Hi, this is Mom Owned and Operated. I am Rita Suzanne, and today I have my guest, Dr. Elizabeth, with me, and I'm so excited to chat with you today. Please tell everyone all about you, your business, and your family.
Well, thank you so much for having me here today, Rita. I'm excited to meet you and connect with your people. So I'm a holistic and intuitive doctor. And what I've been working on my entire life is healing chronic illness and autoimmune disorders. And just really rebuilding health from a foundational level so that myself and people that I work with can live their lives at their best, rather than always chasing symptoms and never feeling well or having enough energy to do what they want to do. I truly believe that if we all have the most health that we can have, then we're going to be able to contribute the most to our families and our communities and the world. And I've been a single mom for a long, long time. My daughter is turning 16 soon, and so it certainly made me up my game in being as healthy as I can, so that I can, give the most to her and make sure that she has the best start in life and foundation for flying, because I didn't. I was really sick starting when I was quite young. Like, I started getting migraines when I was 4, and fibromyalgia symptoms when I was 7. I didn't get a diagnosis right off because they don't diagnose 7-year-olds with that. But it was bad enough I wasn't allowed to walk the summer I was 7 because my hips were so inflamed. And then my health problems just like piled on and got worse from there. So been experimenting and searching and learning with my own health since I was a little kid, and now in my mid 40s, I'm pretty healthy. Like, I feel good.
Yeah. I think that I feel like a lot of women and moms that I know who are in their 40s feel this overwhelming frustration with their health, right, at this age. Is that something that your clients are also expressing to you?
Oh, for sure. It's a lot of the people that I work with have multiple symptoms, and they're kind of vague, like pain and fatigue and stuff like that. Some of them have diagnoses. I think diagnosis is kind of a cop out for medical doctors. You put, like, I remember when I got diagnosed with fibromyalgia, I went in and said I had lots of pain in, like, my muscles and my joints and all of that. And then they tell me fibromyalgia, which translates to fibro is fibers, myo is muscle, and algia is pain. Like, I just told you that I had that, and you just put it in Latin to be fancy.
Hmm.
So,
And there's no like real treatment for it, right?
right, because it's just made up.
Hmm.
Um, and a big frustration that I have with a lot of my clients is that they've been trying, they've gone and gotten their blood work done, and they've tried different dietary changes and all of that. And often, according to the medical ranges, their blood work is just normal. So the doctors tell them they're just fine, or it's all in their head, or they've got anxiety. And that can be the most frustrating thing when there's something off with your health, and then you're just told that there's not, and there's nothing more they can do for you. I feel like that's the most frustrating thing. So I tell my clients all the time, well, you know your body better than anyone. You live in it 24/7. So if you think something is off, you're right, because you're the expert on you.
Hmm.
And
Yeah, and
and
just keep pushing forward, right?
Yeah, and if you're not getting answers from the practitioners you're working with, like, start thinking outside the box and um, getting some other opinions, and that's often where I come in. I would love to come in on the level where people come see me before they go through the whole medical route and, trying different diagnoses and medications and all of that, but often I'm the other opinion person,
Mm.
um, and then I'm the one who's like going to dive deep into, why they're feeling like they're feeling, what those blood work numbers actually mean, what's happened in their lives to put them on this path to lead them to where their health is, and to really turn on their own healing power, because we all have so much healing power. I mean, many of us created humans with our bodies, like healing something like fibromyalgia, no big deal after you grew a human.
Right. So, what are some of the things that you are helping these or your clients with?
Like what kind of symptoms and stuff?
Well, like yeah, like what are the symptoms or like what are the issues that they're having that you're helping them with?
I mean, I feel like one of the biggest issues is just that they're not being heard by their medical doctors.
Mhm.
Um, and a lot of the people I work with are kind of at this transitional age, like sort of where we are in our 40s. Hormones are shifting again. Our kids are growing up. Um, there's a lot of change going on that's not really acknowledged in our normal healthcare system.
Mhm.
And so what I do is kind of help people put together all of those pieces, like the emotional piece of, your kids are getting older and you're discovering yourself again. The hormonal piece of, oh, we're heading toward menopause and our hormones are changing yet again. If only they could stay stable for a few years, right?
Mhm.
And kind of the mental piece of, I like, once you're in your 40s, I feel like you really know yourself on a deep level,
Mhm.
more so than you ever have before. And that mental piece of putting it all together, like making it okay to be really confident in yourself
Yeah.
and in what you know about yourself, rather than just being, asking for experts to tell you, like, really digging deep into what you really know.
Mhm.
That's the when I said holistic and intuitive doctor, like, that intuitive piece is really big. Like, have you ever had a gut feeling?
Mhm. Of course, right?
Mhm. Have you ever not followed a gut feeling?
Yes.
How'd that work out for you?
Not great. Not great.
Right?
Mhm.
So that gut feeling is your intuition, which everyone has it. And when we don't follow it, things don't go well.
Mhm.
And so really helping people tap into that so that they can know on a deep level what's really right and what direction to go.
So, what are some of the things that we can heal? Like, what are some of our, I guess, ailments? I don't even know how to classify it or how to say it, how to word it.
Sure. I mean, lots of the people I work with come to me with symptoms like fatigue or chronic pain. A lot of them do have autoimmune diagnoses. I've helped people with lupus, with fibromyalgia, with multiple sclerosis, with rheumatoid arthritis, with hemochromatosis, like all kinds of things. A lot of people are seeing me for help with going into this menopause phase of life. If we haven't been taking care of our hormones for all this time, then that can be a pretty tricky time.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, those are a lot of the issues that I see with people. And anxiety is a big one. And I don't know how true anxiety is, because often that's like the default diagnosis for the
Mhm.
medical doctor. Like, if you go in with, like, your thyroid isn't functioning well, but your blood work's still normal, or your hormones don't feel right, but your blood work's still normal, or you're tired all the time, but your blood work is still normal. They often just tell you that you have anxiety and try to put you on a
Mhm.
medication for that. And
It's almost like you're concerned or you're worried about this thing, so you have anxiety over it. Well, yeah.
yeah, yeah. And
Like
medication is
that's
not the answer when it comes to that. There's so many other things to do. So help people
yeah.
solve that.
So what do some of the treatments like that you often use look like?
Um, well, first I dig really deep into the why. Like I don't care as much what is going on for someone health wise, but the why is what I care about.
Mhm,
Um, so the plan after that uh, is all about rebuilding the foundation of health. So that can involve some mindset things like what I was just saying about intuition and following what you know about yourself. That's huge, like helping people retrain to be able to do that without having to think about it so hard, like to
mhm,
just be able to do that as a reflex. Um, I also help people, like sometimes I'll use some supplements, not many at a time, but some supplements to help with like a gut reset, like getting your gut healthy again, because gut is such a big foundational piece of any other part of health. So we'll use a few months of supplements for that. Occasionally there are dietary changes. Um, Sometimes it's as simple as just talking someone through like proper hydration and sleep.
mhm.
Um, yeah, the foundation of health is really, really important. So,
So it's really like a holistic view, and it's just really customized to what each person needs.
mhm. And I try to keep it really simple, as as moms and business owners and entrepreneurs and all of these things that us ladies are doing. Trying to add like 15 things at once is never going to work. It's just going to be overwhelming. So I like to change one or two things at a time and really build that foundation up so that we're not, so that we can also like see the difference on a clearer level. Like when you just change one or two things, you can really clearly see the difference. Where if you throw 15 things at something, like I've gone to a naturopath before and come out with like 9
Right.
supplements. And
Right.
I'm like, what do I even do? And none of
Right.
them were from gut health. And if you try to digest 9 supplements and your gut's not healthy, it's not going to work.
Right.
So not that, like one or two things at a time. So it's simple and doable.
Hmm. I think that that's the smartest approach, anyways, because then you can actually see what's working and what's maybe not working versus investing in all of these supplements, which, by the way, are so expensive, especially for quality ones.
Yeah.
So, do you think that there is a correlation between health and wealth since we have a lot of mom business owners on here?
Of course. I mean, they rhyme, so that's a good start.
Of course, right? They must go together.
They do go together. And I mean, if if you think about it, if your health isn't good, it's really hard to do anything else.
Hmm.
Um, so to bring in wealth is just that much harder if your health isn't already in place. But also increasing your health, especially the way I do it with helping people rebuild their confidence around it and really rebuilding, like it's a lot of rebuilding your self-image.
Hmm.
Um, and seeing how powerful you are as a person, as a body, as a human, and building that connection to your body, because a lot of us are really disconnected from our bodies, and that's part of why we have a lot of health problems. So rebuilding all that, it just increases your vibration
Hmm.
and increases your level of function, and when you're just functioning on that higher level, you bring in more money. It just happens.
Yeah, I was thinking that too when you were saying that because I was thinking as far as the disconnect and I do feel like as women as moms, and briefly, like how we discussed, when the reason why I started this was, the whole everything was just kind of happening at one time. But as moms and business owners and just women in general, I find that, we're just so overwhelmed with all the things that we often just become disconnected with ourselves. And that was one of the reasons why I started this, because I wanted to know, like, how are other people like taking care of themselves? Like, what are you doing for yourself? Because I used to be such a huge advocate, proponent for self-care. And then I had to step away, I guess. I mean, I didn't have to, I chose to, for, survival sake, step away from taking care of myself. So that's why I love talking about self-care so much, because it's so
Yeah,
important.
it is so important. And that's why it's like the first thing that I do with a client is help them implement that self-care piece. So my
Mhm.
number one recommendation for anyone is to schedule in at least 10 minutes a day that's just for you. Your
Mm.
kids aren't allowed to interrupt. Your phone's not allowed to interrupt. Your dog's not allowed to interrupt unless your dog is super peaceful and you're out, communing with that. But you don't have to do anything for anyone except for you. And I mean, even if you just sit there and just think about how great you are, like all of the amazing things that you did for yourself in that day. Or if you just go for a walk and let your mind relax. Those are a couple of things that can be super powerful, but making sure you do it every day and take that 10 minutes just for you, because it puts you first for at
Mhm.
least 10 minutes a day. And if you can put yourself first for that long, that's a big step, because most of us don't. Because, I mean, once you become a mom, you're always putting your kid first.
Yeah,
Like, it just happens. Um,
and
but so
everyone else.
I recommend that people start with that 10 minutes a day, because that's some of the most basic self-care you can do. And if you can add like 5 minutes a week to that, like first week do it for 10 minutes, the next week do it for 15, and add, until you get to like an hour a day of just focusing on you and how amazing you are, all the amazing things you've done, how you're healing, and just diving deep into all the good about yourself. It grows yourself in big ways.
I love that. So during that time, what are you doing for yourself? What are you doing, and what do you recommend that other people do?
I mean, for me, I will, there's a couple things I do. Like sometimes it's just going for a walk and just really focusing on my breathing while I do that. And then the other thing that I'm working on getting better at is journaling.
Mhm.
Um, I don't love writing things down, but I do find it helpful and challenging to keep working on a list of all of the great things that I do, or that I am.
Mhm.
Really focusing on the positive. I think especially as women, we tend to focus on the negative.
Yeah.
I'm too fat. I'm too, like, I'm not pretty enough, or I don't have the good enough clothes, or whatever it might be. I'm not smart enough. Um, all of those things come up for us often, and shifting that focus to how amazing we are,
Mhm.
and writing it down, because then you can go back and read it.
Yeah.
Like, and
Or
according to
or like, being in a state of worry all the time. Or what about this, especially when you have kids, worrying about their safety and
sure.
future and stuff. So I used to journal so much. And when I say I stopped taking care of myself, that's what I'm mostly referencing, because I used to journal every single day. And I stopped doing that. And I, like you, I'm finding it very hard to get back into doing it. And even to this day, I still am trying to get back into it the way that I used to, because I used to love it so much. Well, and I always say, it's not that I love it. I found it so helpful. And So when I stopped it, I felt, like I should have been doing it because it was so helpful to me. So I need to do it again. So
So
I
what
love
if you
the advice
just
of the 10 minutes because I'm like, I need to just do that.
and what if you just wrote down one thing a day that you appreciate about yourself?
Right. Right.
And
Because
after
I am constantly in a state of gratitude. I will say that I'm in a state of gratitude. I'm always, trying to be positive and all of those things. So I try to do that at minimum. But it's a lot different because, they say like 80% of our thoughts are subconsciously negative. So, by journaling, you're supposed to be helping combat that negativity that you can't even help that's there.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And then if you write down one thing a day, then after a month you have like 30 things and you can go read those and be like, whoa, whoa. After a year, you have 365. Like,
Right. Like, oh, I know. And I used to say this all the time. I used to have this journal, the best journal, I think is what it's called. And it was like a planner. And inside of the planner at the bottom, it had a section where it would be, your gratitude, 3 things that you're grateful for today. And I would do it, but you can't repeat it, right? So every day you would have to come up with 3 new things that you are grateful for, right? Because your default is like, oh, I'm grateful for my kids. I'm grateful for the sunshine. I'm grateful to be alive. Like those are the things. And then, you would have to come up with new things. And then, so every day it would make you really just like take a deeper look at yourself and like, what is there? What else is there? And you just really start paying attention to the tiny little things that are impacting your life that you're so grateful for. And I think it's really important. And, I suggest it to everyone. So, so what else are you doing for yourself, Dr. Elizabeth?
so much. One of the probably the biggest thing that I do for myself is um, I schedule in my playtime so that I don't miss it
Mhm.
because, I mean, I'm a business owner, you're a business owner and a mom. Like you can put all of your time into your business and your kids and just try to fit in the playtime, the happy time, the joy time. But if you don't schedule it in, like you have to create time for it. You can't just find time. And
Right.
that's a big difference, I think, is the creating time versus finding time. I mean, also, I'm really good with my diet and my sleep and, all those foundational things. But but yeah, scheduling in my time for fun, because fun is another one of those things that really raises your vibration. And that helps heal things in so many ways, not just the physical.
Yeah, I think it's important to add it to our schedule because oftentimes, like you said, as business owners, like our default is to like our spare time is working, right? That's what we do. We work.
And I know
And
my brain is in my business, even if I'm not actively working. So finding something that takes my brain out of my business for a little while is really
yeah,
good.
yes, I love it. Okay, so where can people find you? Where are you online and where can we connect with you?
Well, my website is drelizabethdavidson.com. DR is just DR, not doctor spelled out. And if you go to my blog page, there's a couple freebies in there that you can access. Um, there's one to help your kids and one to help you.
Nice.
And I'm also on Instagram and Facebook and LinkedIn and all the places. Um, but on the on my website, you can connect to my Instagram through there and all the things. So that's probably the good
And I
place.
will put all the links and stuff in the show notes. And it's been such a pleasure chatting with you. I appreciate you for taking the time and spending it with us.
Yeah, of course. You too. Thanks for having me on.
And there you have it. I want to encourage you to remember that being a mom who runs her own business is not easy. We all struggle, but just keep moving forward and don't forget to make time for yourself. As moms, we are usually the first thing to go to the bottom of the list. If your business is overwhelming you and you need real solutions, not just some sugar-coated suggestions, apply to work with me at ritasuzanne.com/apply.